2 years ago, I sat back in a chair surrounded by black trash bags, and a friend of mine took an electric razor and began to shave most of my hair off. I think it was when I was 6 that I first went to a barbershop. It was a barbershop in my neighborhood called Sal's Barbershop, I think. I went with my grandfather. I remember walking in, and the first thing that hits you is the smell of, shaving cream and the various liquids and foams that are used in the process. And at the time, I was full of excitement. Up until that point, I had only ever gotten my hair cut by my mom in my house. And so this was going to be a big opportunity to try something new. We sat there together waiting for a barber to open up, and I got called in eventually and sat on one of those little high seat additions so that I would be tall enough for the barber to get in my hair. And at that time, I guess I was still young enough that I wasn't really conscious of what I looked like, My haircuts were always just styled by my mom, or in this case and in many cases after it while I was still young, chosen by whatever adult came with me to the barber. But as I got older and I kept going to this one barber every few months, I guess, I started to gain that awareness, started to think more about what I looked like, was more concerned about my appearance. I guess I was just getting older. And going to that barber shop, standing on those black and white tiles, I developed more and more of a sense of apprehension and almost danger. It was a crazy thing that started to happen. I started to get more and more and more and more nervous until it eventually became that every time I went to the barber's, I was horrified at what might happen. I was so worried that I would walk out of there looking crazy, looking wrong, looking different, and that the people that I saw on the street and my friends, people I saw in school, they would see my haircut and judge me in some way, laugh, or think I looked stupid. I became really afraid of that. I'd walk into the barber shop and sit down in that chair, and the buzzer is sending shivers down my neck. And to make matters worse, I had glasses, and you had to take them off when you got your hair cut, which meant that the entire time this whole thing's happening, I can't see in the mirror in front of me, so I can't see anything that's happening. And clumps of hair just raining down around my shoulders and on the floor. God. I learned that people are never really paying attention as much as you think they are. I could probably count on one hand the number of people after I got a haircut in the days, weeks, even months after I got a haircut, the number of people who actually noticed. And yet, one time after the next, I would feel this absolute horror. So now, 2 years ago, I sat in this chair and I'd asked my friend to just go for it, just shave my head. I was going to leave maybe a few centimeters, I guess. So I wasn't going to be bald, but now I think about that as an adventure. At the time, I just was trying to save money, I guess. Didn't want to go to the barber and have to pay $50 and $20. But it was a big step, actually, to stop being worried about how people were going to think about how I cut my hair. And, in that way, I stopped being afraid of that change, the change that comes with modifying your appearance. But I wonder to myself, why don't I think that about other things? Why have I learned how to deal with this change? Why do we allow that change to happen for ourselves? But we're so afraid. Why am I so afraid of so many other changes in my life, of turning things upside down, of taking chances, having adventures, making things different? Because really, I'm the one paying attention. And if it's going to be good for me, if it's going to be exciting for me, I should just go for it. We should just go for it. We should live our lives with that buzzer in our hands, ready to take a chance, ready to look different, without being scared what other people might think.